Good evening, SLT family. Listen, we have a phenomenal queen coming on the show tonight. She's a mover, she's a shaker, she is an entrepreneur. Miss Liza, she is an accountant. She is based in the Tampa area. However, her business is beyond Tampa, but that's her base area. Tonight, we're going to be talking with her about her business, learning about her entrepreneurship journey, how she got started. She's going to be dropping jewels about her business and just some little tips and tools that we can implement in our everyday life as it pertains to our taxes. At this time, Miss Liza, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to work well with you guys and to give any information that I can to help your audience when it has to do with business, business structure, taxes for individuals and not just businesses. I do a full service accounting here at Quick Tax and Credit Solutions.
Wow, absolutely powerful. Share with our listening audience, when did your entrepreneurship journey begin? Were you young and you just always had that desire to be a business owner? How did that happen for you?
Well, to be honest with you, I started before I even knew what I was doing was going to turn into the business that I have now. I was in college doing my undergraduate work for accounting, and I really gravitated to the tax classes that I was taking. I started doing taxes for my friends, my family, my coworkers, and, through my graduate work, I also continued to do taxes, and that's where it really began. So we're talking about back in 2010 when I was in here at USF. And then I created it into a business. So officially, we registered back in 2014, but I've actually been doing taxes and business services for over 10 years.
Wow. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, for a decade, she has been blazing a trail in this industry. And I think that's something profound because a lot of times, it's common during tax season, we're trying to find a professional and, you want to work with someone that has time in the books and she does, and again, even though she's based in Tampa, I had a conversation with her and she's not limited. So if you're an individual looking for that type of a service, I highly encourage you to connect with her company, personal wise, as well as business. Talk a little bit about what services you offer for individuals on the personal side and then the business side.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that. We do have two tiers. So we have two different types of services. For business services is where I started professionally. We offer business startup, consulting, coaching. We also offer CFO services, tax preparation for businesses, payroll, and bookkeeping. So it's all services combined for a business. Anywhere from a startup company to a medium size, anywhere to like $5 million in gross revenue.
Wow.
And then as far as the individuals, we offer tax preparation services. We offer tax planning and tax strategies for higher to mid to high income earners. And it's very, very important to sit down with an accountant throughout the year so that you can see what changes you need to make financially so that you can have the most advantageous strategic position for taxes. We also offer credit repair, IRS resolution. My team on our team, we have notaries as well, translation services. And then coming soon in 2021, we're going to be offering immigration services as well.
Wow. Listen, guys, that's tuned in now or tuned in later. It is an array of services that her company offers. Again, she is the CEO of Quick Tax and Credit Solutions, again, based in Tampa. However, she is statewide. She alluded to the fact that she is a business coach. There are many business owners out there. I know I get calls all the time that need an individual, someone that's qualified to assist them. I definitely around the area of bookkeeping. Can you speak to why bookkeeping is really at the heart of any business? Because when it's tax time, sometimes I know people are trying to pull things together. Talk about the continuity throughout the year and why that's so important.
Well, it's extremely important. Bookkeeping is your foundation of where your money is going. You want to make sure that at any chance that you get to stay on top of your books. You don't want to say, hey, I've worked so hard all year long and I don't know where my money went. That's because you're not doing your bookkeeping. You're not, if you want to hire a bookkeeper in-house or call anybody on our staff, we offer that service so that you know where your money is going, where it's being spent. And sometimes we sit down with you if you want to see, hey, what can I do better to have a better cash flow? We'll sit down and break it down for you in your business and look at your different vendors and look at your expenses, where you can cut corners, where you can, make better decisions. If you do not know what's going on with your money, you do not know what's going on with your business. Your money and your bookkeeping is the heart of your business.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you, this, like never before, we know a lot is going on around with COVID-19, and we know businesses have gotten hit hard, but being prepared for whatever is to come next, that's where it's at. We cannot change what has happened, but we can prepare ourselves for the future. Talk a little bit about, do you have a certain ideal client? I know you mentioned about the 2 tiers. Are there certain ideal clients? If someone's listening to the show right now, please share.
Of course. For any business, whether it's a tax firm or, marketing company, there's always that ideal target client, the one that you really, really want to go for and market to so that you know that your marketing efforts are not going in vain and that you're getting a return on your investment. Like I said, we have 2 different tiers where we have the individual services and the business services. Currently, our ideal client for business services is, like I said before, anybody who's starting out. We're here to coach you and guide you and give you advice as to what's the best, startup, what's the best structure for your business tax-wise, because obviously we're not have any kind of legal advice that we can give you. But as far as what's most advantageous for taxes in a business is what we can help you with. We coach you through the beginning and help you through all the consulting phases of what to do next and how to get more prepared for the financial part of it, because these are things that are not taught in school. Even with myself and having an accounting degree, there's many things that I learned that I had a learning curve and had to learn on my own and made a lot of mistakes until I got a good coach and a good consultant to kind of navigate through being an entrepreneur. And that's extremely important. So our ideal business client is anyone who's starting up to mid-sized. Once you get mid-sized, our staff is not equipped to handle more than 150 employees and things of that nature. At that point, a business is able to get an in-house accountant or an in-house bookkeeper to help them better navigate the day-to-day tasks, and then we would be able to take over on the tax part of it at the end of the year. Now, as far as individual services, we have, my staff does specialize in different niches. We have one department that handles just self-employed individuals who get a 1099. And those are, for me, my favorite clients, because that is what I like doing. I like, trying to get them to change their mindset, because there are more advantages of being a structured business versus a self-employed individual. I do have 2 of my tax preparers who have been with me for over 5 years, and they specialize in high-income earners, anyone who makes over $100,000. And then we also have another department that specializes in anyone who makes less than $100,000, because there's different tax strategies for different income brackets. But for me personally, my ideal client is in the business sector.
Awesome. And, ladies and gentlemen that's listening to the show, as you hear her speak, she's talking about tax strategies. At the end of the day, we have to become educated. In the society that we're living in right now with constant, I hear the saying is uncertain times. I hear that over and over again on the news. But we cannot allow that to penetrate or hinder us from moving forward or even growing. We need to connect with a firm, agency that can provide education so we can continue to be empowered. So talk to us a little bit about how do you see your business expanding into new areas? I know on your Instagram page it talks about Orlando. Talk a little bit about where you see your company going.
Well, currently our main base is in Tampa. I do have a small satellite office in Orlando and one in Miami. We do offer services nationwide. I have clients all the way from Alaska, Chicago, LA, Maine. So, and then I have also clients who own businesses here in the United States but live in Canada or live in the Virgin Islands. So we have a wide base of being able to service anyone anywhere because we do have a great virtual program, and we do offer virtual services. However, as far as expanding our business, we're also incorporating the education part of it. We have a sub company called Tax Authority, which has certain courses and live courses. Obviously, with COVID-19, it has affected our launch. But the courses that we are going to be offering this year is for small and individual, self-employed businesses, and also for tax individuals, so they can see how to strategize on their own and how to change their mindset so that everything that they're doing financially will give them a more advantageous position when come tax season. It's better to get prepared and do things ahead of time than wait at the end of the year and say, oh my God, Lisa, I only have 2 weeks to figure this out. That's not enough time. You have to be able to sit down and look at what you're doing on a monthly basis, so that you can make better financial decisions for you and your family or your business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you've been in the industry for about 10 years. I'm sure you have seen
Correct.
trends in the industry.
Oh,
Lord. Our listening audience, what type of trends have you seen in the tax professional industry?
Well, being I'm a minority. I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican, and I come from a very low-income family. I am actually the first in my family to go to college and graduate and get a graduate degree. There is definitely a tax system for the rich, and there is a tax system for the poor. And the new changes that were signed into effect in 2018 by the Trump administration really highlighted the differences in those two tax structures. There were so many tax cuts for businesses and corporations, and they changed the tax rates for everyone. And while many people were seeing what I call the smoke screen of the increased child tax credit, what they didn't realize is that, yes, you're seeing more money in your pocket from your check. However, come tax season, you owe money back, or you're not getting as much money back because it balances itself out. So there is definitely a huge gap between minorities that that make less than $30,000 a year, and then those that own their business, because there's tax strategies that you can offset your tax liability through your business and then not have to pay taxes on the back end on your personal. So there's different things that we as a community should educate each other, and that's why I wanted to start that education program, because if you're self-employed, or you are not working enough to report, or I have some clients that have cash-based businesses, and when they go to buy a house, they're paying so much money in taxes to be able to prove their income to buy a house, without knowing that there are so many tax strategies for businesses if you're registered and if you are set up with the correct corporate structure that will lower your tax liability legally through the tax code. I mean, there's so many companies that don't pay anything in taxes, and we need to educate our community to use that same tax code instead of being stuck in the poor tax code. Like I said, there's two different tax strategies for the rich and some for the poor, and we really, really need to elevate our community because we are at a disadvantage for not having that education.
Wow. And for those that are listening right now, she's actually going to be one of our featured speakers. Those that have been following our page, we have a 3-day virtual broadcast, Speak Life to the Nations, and she's going to be one of our featured speakers, educating us with some golden nuggets, like I always say, golden nuggets that can help us propel us forward. And that's in July. But before July, we wish that everyone get connected with her. Her Instagram page is Tampa Tax 411. But again, catch her on that 3-day virtual broadcast because it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But I encourage everyone to follow her page and get connected now. You can set up your one-on-one consult. One of the things when we bring people on this show, SLT, to talk, we bring individuals that have knowledge and are expert in their industry. And this is not anything different on tonight. I hear her heart, I hear her passion, and I'm sure you do as well on the other side of this broadcast. Can you share with us any tips, just some basic things? Let's first talk about an individual. Let's say it's a person that's working 2 or 3 jobs and then they still end up owing. Like, why is that?
Well, they have to take a look at what income tax bracket they're in and how are they being taxed. I see a lot of times where they may have 3 separate jobs or even, work in a certain way, and they may not have children to claim, or I have a husband and wife who are separated and one claims one child and they kind of slip back and forth. So each year your tax situation is going to be different. But the main thing that you want to look at is when you're looking at your pay stub, make sure that you're getting taxed properly. If you're making a certain amount of money, make sure that whatever tax bracket you're in, that you're being taxed properly for your federal income taxes being withheld. I see a lot of companies that have you fill out your W-2 and you're answering your W-4, I apologize, and you're answering all the questions which is check 1 for claiming yourself. If you have children, put how many children you're claiming, and they're over claiming. They might be claiming 6 when they in reality should be claiming 1. So they want to really look at where they're going to be at towards the end of the year, at what tax bracket, and then fix that accordingly. And that's just step 1. There's so many other different strategies. If you're a homeowner, if you're not a homeowner, if you took out of your 401k before time, you're going to have a penalty, a double penalty, and they don't explain these things. So each situation is different, but they have to look at strategically where they are for their tax bracket, and then we can discuss some strategies to lower their tax liabilities.
Wow. Now I hear you shared the whole thing with what Trump did back in 2018 with the practices they put into place and how the business owners are making out good. So let's say a business owner listening to this show right now, they're just getting started. What are some basic tips you can share with them?
Well, number 1, we hit it right on the head from the beginning. Bookkeeping is the pulse of your business. You want to make sure that you are keeping up with your books. And what goes hand in hand with that is also making sure that you keep your personal expenses separate from your business expenses. You do not want to kind of cross hairs. I see a lot of entrepreneurs that do that. And what the problem is that depending on what your corporate structure is, the tax entities can say, okay, well, this is more self-employed, and kind of push you into a self-employed mode, which is one of the highest taxes that you're going to pay. For example, if I file your taxes and you are single with no children, and being self-employed, a 1099 or cash-based business, you report $15,000 of income, you're going to pay anywhere between $2,500 to $3,200 in taxes. However, if I switch you to an S corporation, or you have a 2-member LLC, the gain of the company, that $15,000 transfers over to your personal as a pass-through entity, and I can discuss that in detail on a one-on-one basis with my clients. But you're at a lower tax bracket. You're not paying self-employment taxes. You're not paying a lot of the taxes that you would at being self-employed. So somebody who owns a company that has a gain of $15,000 is only going to pay about $321 in taxes.
Wow. Listen, guys, you're listening to someone that knows her stuff. This is not someone that's just coming out the gate. She knows her stuff. This is what she's passionate about. This is her lane. This is her area of expertise. Again, go to Tampa Tax 411. That is the Instagram page. And when you go to that page, her website is also there, quicktaxandcredit.com. Again, I encourage everyone to go to her page. Before we are on this platform tonight, we had a one-on-one conversation. Anyone I bring on the show, we talk one-on-one, and I'm able to find out, and vet them, and she's totally vetted in terms of what her skill and expertise is. So I highly encourage you to reach out to her. And again, she has a whole team. If you heard what she said, there is a team of individuals, depending on your situation. There's a department with her company that will suit your need. Now, let's say someone might be listening to the show and they started out, they just did their single member LLC, but they want to convert to an S Corp. Is that possible?
Of course, definitely. The IRS does let you convert to an S Corp because as a single member LLC, you're treated as a self-employed individual, and that's where we run back into that higher tax. You're going to pay a much higher tax as a single member LLC because according to the IRS, you're a disregarded entity. They don't see it as a structured business. And so therefore, we go ahead and file the proper documentation to have you being treated as an S Corp so you can take advantage of the tax breaks and you can take advantage of all the differences that there are between self-employed and being treated as a corporation.
Now, there's some individuals, I guess, have shied away from doing the corporation because they felt that they're going to be taxed more versus the LLC. Can you speak to that? Is that a myth? Is it so? What's up with that?
Well, that's more like a misnomer. There's different types of corporations. For the IRS, they're very simplified. Each state has their own way of structuring a business. But when it comes to the IRS, you have an S Corp, which is a small based or medium-sized company, and that is a pass-through entity. And then you have your C corporation, which is a completely separate entity from yourself. And the differences lie in where a C corporation is going to pay taxes on the gain of their business, and then the owners or the shareholders are going to pay taxes on their dividends and their shares. An S corporation is a little bit different, and as well as an LLC. You have your shareholders, you have your members, and they have a share of the company that gets reported on a documentation called a Schedule K-1, and then they would get taxed. But the company itself does not pay taxes. The gain of the company is shared amongst their shareholders, and it passes through to their personal income tax, and that's where they pay taxes. And it's at a much lower rate. And also, again, they are not taxed for self-employment taxes, which is what causes a single-member LLC or a disregarded entity or self-employed to get a much higher tax versus an S Corp. So it's kind of a misnomer to say that being a corporation, you're going to get taxed more. It depends on what type of corporation we're talking about.
Okay, awesome. Now, for that listening audience member that says, well, it's just me. I don't have more than one person with my company. So what would I do if I do file as an S Corp? I don't have any other individuals. I'm just me. It's just, so what would you say to that person? Should they then start as an LLC until their company grows and then convert to the S Corp?
Well, again, with an LLC, if it's just one person, it's considered a single member entity, disregarded entity. So in my company, we do advise our clients to switch to an S Corp to get a more advantageous tax position. You do not have to have more than one person within your company to become an S Corp. It is just the way that the IRS treats you as an S Corp. You can still be an LLC and be treated as an S Corp for tax purposes only.
Listen, guys, I think you all want to follow her page. I think everybody needs to set up a one-to-one consult. And here's what I'm saying is I've talked to many professionals over the years, and you know when someone knows their stuff. You know when someone knows their industry, when they can fluently talk about it without hesitation. Her Instagram is Tampa Tax 411. Again, the website, quicktaxandcredit.com. Liza is going to be one of our featured speakers during our 3-day virtual broadcast, Speak Life to the Nations. You can follow our page on social media at Speak Life Tour. Follow our website as well, speaklifetour.org. There's no need for us to walk in uncertainty, to walk with not having the knowledge. What you should do is connect with someone that is professional, not just a hobby. right? And there's a difference between the two.
Correct.
We all, sometimes people dibble and dabble in things, but there's a difference. Can you talk about the difference between a business and a hobby?
Well, the difference between the business and a hobby is the end goal. Most people who have a hobby, they do it because they love it and they have passion for their craft, but they're not necessarily getting or want financial gain from it. They're doing it because they love it. Now, a business is similar in that sense. However, each business wants to grow. Each business wants to have a financial gain, set financial goals, and also have wealth for their family. And that is the difference between a hobby and a business. A business requires a different mindset. You have to really have a different mindset because there are going to be ups and downs, and the industry is going to treat you differently because you're just coming in, and you're going to have to fight your way to get your market share. Whereas a hobby, I mean, I can do this as a hobby and just give tax advice to whoever asks me and just do it for fun. But I do it not only because I have passion, because I want to see other businesses grow, but also with other businesses growing that I'm coaching and consulting, my business grows as well. I want to be able to offer generational wealth for my children and be able to teach others how to provide that for their children and their families.
That's powerful. That actually leads me into my next question as we get ready to wind down the segment, is how can entrepreneurs come together and make a difference in their community? From your vantage point, how can individuals in the community, they're an entrepreneur, they're a business owner, how can we come together as one and make a difference?
One of the things that I've seen and that I practice a lot in my business as well, besides the business coaching, is I have this small group of, it started out with just a couple of friends of mine who were also starting out their own businesses, and we have a mastery mindset class that we kind of put together ourselves, and we meet every Monday to kind of bounce things off of each other and the things that we've learned in all our respective industries. I have one of my good friends, Felicia, who is an amazing cook and has her own restaurant. I also, in our group, is another young lady, amazing mindset, breaking down barriers in a predominantly male-oriented industry. She's a contractor and has huge, million-dollar deals, and she just started her business. But we all struggle with something. So the way that we can give back to our community and kind of push ourselves forward and pull each other up is by being able to get together with, a coach or a mentor and a group of people that have the same like mindset to grow your business. Make sure you surround yourself with other businesses, and it might not be in your immediate community. You might want to seek out a coach, a mentor, ask somebody who's in your industry to kind of help you go through the same path so that you can learn from their mistakes, and it won't cost you as much if you were learning it on your own. You'll be able to propel your business a lot faster that way versus trying to learn things on your own. We have to kind of learn how to humble ourselves and be coachable, because without that, we're not really going to grow as much. And if you see somebody struggling and you feel a kindred spirit, pull them up, help them, give them, as you say, those golden nuggets, because that's the only way as a community that we're going to grow. We have to help ourselves, because nobody's going to do it for free. Nobody's going to give you anything in this life. And there's a lot of things that you have to learn on your own in business that is not taught in school.
That's right. That's right. One last question as we close out this segment. Just share with the listening audience 3 tips on how you stay motivated as an entrepreneur that might help an entrepreneur listening to this show tonight.
Okay. Well, I get this question a lot, from our group and from a lot of other small businesses. And one of the things that I do tell a lot of my clients is, number one, create a healthy routine that works for you, not necessarily for everybody else. It has to work for you. Everybody's individual situation is different. I've read some self-help books about how, millionaires wake up at 4 a.m. and they start their day early, and that's great. But if it doesn't work for you and you see yourself lagging, you're less productive, don't do it. For me, I have a healthy routine where I wake up a little bit earlier than my kids. I do have 3 kids. I'm a single mom. So I can't wake up at 4 in the morning when I'm going to bed at 2 in the morning. It's just not feasible. So, you know, I created a healthy routine that works for me, that keeps me motivated, that I have a fresh set of eyes every day that I come into the office. I do not bring anything in from the previous day. I come fresh because of my healthy routine. One of the other things that keeps me motivated as an entrepreneur is I set my personal goals. We have a goal here within our office and our team, but I set my personal goals on how to become a better entrepreneur. How can I be a better boss? How can I be a better manager? What can I do differently and be more efficient than I did last year? And once I have those goals and my action plan to achieve it, I go through that and I make sure that I'm hitting it on a weekly basis. And then the other thing is I have a good reward for myself. I know that at the end of the week, you know, I have this and that and get this all accomplished. Here's my reward on Saturday night. I might have an ice cream or a good 3 hours alone time with my book, or I might, you know, go get my hair done or my nails done. But there's always a reward to keep me motivated to get to the next hurdle.
Yeah. You know, it's so many things that you shared on this segment that we all can take away. And then it'll get us to think differently. Everything you've shared, I think it pauses everyone and like, okay, you know what? I just heard some things on this segment and I need to really relook at my business structure. If you're just an individual, you may not have a business. I need to look at my personal taxes. What am I doing with my money? Where's the money going? Right. So
Correct.
if those questions are popping up in your mind, I'm going to drop this site again. The website is quicktaxandcredit.com. Instagram is Tampa Tax 411. So, you know, we're in a phase right now in our country where things are twisted quite naturally. There's a lot going on. It didn't just start with COVID-19. This is before COVID-19, but COVID-19 has just heightened things. It's put things on a whole different level, right? Not only in our country, but in multiple countries,
worldwide.
Right? So in order
worldwide.
for change, worldwide, absolutely. So for order for things to change, we have to educate ourselves. We cannot sit on the sidelines saying, woe is me. We have to connect with someone and get empowered. And I'm encouraging everyone to connect with Miss Liza because it is important. It's right now. You need it. We need it. I need it. You know, we all do. And we cannot just walk around not being educated about the unknown. We have to get on the other side of the fence. And so I appreciate you and thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very passionate about educating others and getting the right information that they need to make better financial decisions, whether they want to start a business or whether they are in a financial situation and want to get out of it or have a better position when it comes tax season. Especially with, like you said, with COVID-19, it has heightened a lot of the issues that we have in our country. You know, we have to be prepared for things of that nature and kind of learn how to pivot our business to kind of deal with the new world order and how things are going now. And if you don't know how to do that, definitely give me a call. We're here to help. You know, most people now are looking into starting a home-based business. And those things have their own strategies in itself. And we're definitely here to help our community and bring each other up. So, you know, make sure that you give us a call. Our office number is 813-793-5608, or, you know, send me a direct message on the Tampa Tax 411 page on Instagram. We're definitely here to help anybody that has questions and that needs to navigate, you know, the complexities of owning a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you. Again, everybody, this summer, July 16th, 17th, and 18th is Speak Life to the Nations. We're having our 3-day virtual broadcast. Listen, I just worked on the schedule this past weekend. We have a full lineup of guest speakers, performing artists. It is going to be a time of empowerment inspiration, but also education. Again, go to our website, speaklifetour.org. If you would like to partner with our organization, shoot us an email, pr@speaklifetour.org. And with that being said, we're going to see everybody at the top, and we're signing off for tonight. Have a blessed night.